So in this video, we see Wolverine forced to fight fellow mutants and other friends in X-Men after Magneto's death, which caused destabilization and destruction across the entire world. So this is AJ at the Hero Informer, and let's see what's going on. So starting off, we see a battle-damaged Wolverine wander his way through a crowd. As you see, he is trying to get on a ship, heading towards his next potential targets. Because currently, Wolverine is on a bit of a revenge spree, getting his revenge on the people, former allies, and even villains who have wronged him. Because right now in this world, which is set in an alternate universe, which explains why everything got as bad as it did, not only are the Avengers other heroes, but the entire world is in chaos and many millions are dead, including us even seeing in the previous issue, Captain America, along with S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury, being killed by Mastermind and his little team here, which Wolverine is now trying to put an end to. So of course Logan eventually is able to get aboard and makes his way through the sea. And as he finally arrives more towards Russia and docks at a port, we see a bunch of the other people trying to leave said area, confused as to why someone like Logan would be going towards the danger and not from it. But of course, they don't know that Wolverine is a man on a mission, a bloody and brutal one. So as he starts his long journey into the snow, it eventually leads him to a power plant, something very valuable in a world where Magneto's death released a worldwide EMP, cutting off every source of power. But as he does arrive, he then makes note of something, saying something's not right. It is burning too bright. Now, why is the most valuable power source on a planet, one worth of death, murder, and betrayal, left unprotected to run hot and melt down? As he finally starts to put the pieces together and realizes that this isn't left unprotected and it's a trap, as Omega Red himself, the mutant villain, finally makes his appearance. And as they start to engage on each other, fighting to the death, each of these combatants fight to leave the other one here dead and alone in the cold. And as we see this brutal battle begin, we see Omega Red stabbing Wolverine through the chest with his tendrils, not only giving Wolverine excruciating pain, but every plague and disease in the book, slowing down his healing factor, which would potentially make it easier for Omega Red to finally finish him off. But while they are fighting, Omega Red then goes on to explain that Wolverine has no place here anyway. The power source that is here, the power plant, is incompatible. Something is wrong with it. Yeah, we have fire and power, but only for a much shorter term than we originally thought. Basically telling Wolverine to turn around and go. It is not worth it. If he has come after the power source, the power plant, he should just pack up and leave. But Omega Red doesn't know that Wolverine doesn't care about any of this. No, he doesn't care about persevering into this new world. He just wants his revenge on people who have wronged him. And right now, Omega Red is on that list and in his way, as Wolverine, using his adamantium claws, cuts Omega Red's tendrils, lunging for him, telling the villain, yeah, I could feel it. I could feel everything you have infected me with, but I'll take it all and endure every bit of it, just so I can put my hands around your neck one last time. As Wolverine, being a man of pure willpower, pushes through and gets close enough so he can wrap his hands around Omega Red's neck, as he literally chokes the life out of the villain, ending this battle and ending him, crossing off another target on Wolverine's revenge list, which only leaves 2 more. But as Wolverine is successful here, he then takes and drags the body of Omega Red, literally hanging it on a tree, saying if this power plant is going bad and is going to melt down, he should leave some sort of sign to deter people from getting close, as he walks off to further investigate what is going on. And after getting close enough, he sees a figure on the top of the reactor, someone literally bathing in the heat and radioactive material of it. So Wolverine decides to make his way up there to confront whoever this is and potentially add another body on his long list of murders. And who is this mysterious person, you may ask? Well, it is none other than Deadpool himself, which is bad for Deadpool and good for Wolverine, as Deadpool was a part of the team that ambushed and started this whole Wolverine revenge spree, meaning he is another target that Wolverine has to kill, has to take down permanently. But this interaction is a little different than the ones previously. As you see, Deadpool here isn't on go mode. No, him and Logan have a little bit of a downtime. They sit and talk things out. Maybe not talk things out, and more talk things over. Talk over what has gone on between these two and the entire world at large. And here we see something kind of left field from Deadpool. You see, Deadpool actually shows a little bit of remorse, some guilt from his actions and what he has done, or at least as much as he can with this entire issue, not even starting with him, but Magneto and his problem. And after confirming that there is something wrong with this nuclear reactor and it is spewing out fallout every 20 minutes, Wade then goes on to continue saying, I feel terrible about what I did. I mean, maybe I could live with it if everything turned out okay, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I chose poorly, which is nothing new, but normally I do a pretty good job of just getting over it, or just pushing down the pain until I forget that it's there. But this time, it's too much. And over the course of this conversation, we see that the nuclear fallout, heat, and radiation is getting more intense, literally sizzling their skin and their costumes, causing it to burn away and deteriorate. But of course, these two beings have healing factors, so that's not too much of an issue. But with that, Deadpool then stands up, saying, okay then, time time to end the show, I suppose. Getting ready to literally jump into the reactor and essentially killing himself, tearing him apart piece by piece. And even though Deadpool says it's because he can't escape the guilt and remorse from everything that has happened, I really think it's just him being bored. Because Deadpool isn't like Wolverine. Wolverine would be happy to retire off in the countryside, hunt for his food, and live out like a wild beast man. Deadpool, on the other hand, isn't like that. And with the world going, well, horrible and into chaos, almost all of the previous heroes, villains, and other things Deadpool liked surrounded himself before gone, or at least completely changed what it used to be, Deadpool doesn't really have a huge motivation to live anymore, at least not in this new world that it is. So as he says his farewells to Logan, he then starts to fall off the edge, telling Logan that he will see him on the other side. But before he is able to go out himself, Logan stops him, grabbing him by his belt, telling him to hold on, saying that he just can't watch Deadpool do this. Seemingly for the first time, and for his first target on his revenge list, Logan himself is maybe showing some remorse, showing some willingness to forgive. And Deadpool, hearing this, is ecstatic, thinking that this means that Wolverine has forgiven him and wants to team up, giving Deadpool a new purpose in this torn world. With Deadpool saying, "Please tell me that you want us to team up one last time. We could right all the wrongs in an R-rated kind of way." But Logan, ignoring all of Deadpool's ecstatic fantasies, he simply asks Wade one simple question. Do you really think someone who's done all the things that we have done can truly be forgiven? And Deadpool, with actual tears in his eyes and a smile on his face, says, "You know what? I guess I do. I do think people like us could be forgiven." But Wolverine, having lived hundreds of years, doesn't see it this way, as he literally pushes Deadpool down the reactor himself, saying, "Well, I don't," sending Deadpool, one of the last targets on his list, down the reactor to be fully disintegrated and consumed by the radioactive heat and material, ending the Merc with a mouth, and pushing Logan forward on his journey for full revenge no matter who is the target. As we do experience a little bit of a time jump, a complete week later, as we pick up with Logan on the countryside, digging some sort of grave with his bare hands and a shovel. And here we see this grave isn't for him. No, of course not. He's still a man on a mission. He doesn't have time just to roll over and die, accept this new reality of this broken world and give up. Instead, this grave is for the last member on his list, his revenge list, as he turns to a house in the distance yelling out, "I know you can see me from in there, so how are we going to do this? Either you're coming out, or I'm coming in," as he says with a smile on his face. Because yes, this is Colossus, the last member a part of that team, and the last member that Wolverine needs his revenge on. And this is Colossus in his human form, which sometimes over the years he has the ability to switch back between his metal and flesh and bone form, or sometimes he's just stuck permanently in his metal one. But this time we see he is able to go to his normal human one. And so as they finally confront each other face to face, Colossus is just completely over this, telling Logan to go home, and that he has no wishes for things to end like this. But Logan simply says he doesn't have a home anymore because of Colossus and what he has done. Because yes, Colossus, the former hero, the former X-Men, former partner, and someone Logan will consider his family, has betrayed not only the heroes but Logan himself. He has sided with the villains, sided with a evil maniac who has caused nothing but death and destruction, because Colossus chose a side. He wanted to be on the better side of this new world, and not on the losing side, especially because he has somebody to protect. As when Logan asks if there's somebody else in the house over there, Colossus says yes and armors up, going in complete metal mode. And as Colossus goes metal mode, Wolverine pops his own adamantium metal claws, telling Colossus that all he can imagine him now is 6 feet under, as he lunges for him to start their battle. But Colossus, being the bigger, stronger, taller man, literally just grabs Logan by his face, throws him many feet away. And as they go on to continue their fight, Wolverine, even though he's trying to kill Colossus and end this, he still needs answers. He wants to know why he did it. Why did he betray everyone? Now, of course, there was no surprise with the others, even Deadpool, because, you know, Deadpool's always been a anti-hero, whereas Colossus has always traditionally been a real hero. Wolverine says, "You were the best of us," as he slices Colossus across his stomach, spewing his metal guts. And Colossus, now hurt on the floor, says, "Sometimes you just have to pick a side, even allies that despise you, because it is the best for your family," referring to whoever is in the house and who he needs to protect. But Logan sees it differently. Logan says he, himself, and the rest of the X-Men, the heroes, was his family. But Colossus, now getting a second wind, grabs Wolverine's arms, holding him up by his neck, saying, "No, you are my friend, not family," and that wasn't enough, as he literally pulls his arm off of his socket, tossing it aside with his adamantium bone sticking out of the flesh. And here we see a moment like none other, Wolverine seemingly very vulnerable and very killable. And it looks like Colossus is going to be the one to finally do Wolverine in, and Logan permanently, even going on to tell him, "I am sorry that it ended this way." And in response, Logan says 3 simple words. Some of the last words that Colossus might hear. "Yeah, me too," as he uses his only good arm, popping his claws and sinking them deep into Colossus' skull, killing him on the spot, ending not only one of the previous X-Men and partners that Wolverine would have gave his life for before, but one of the last targets and people on his revenge list, as Logan looks over the body and picks up his broken detached arm, putting it back on his shoulder and letting it heal. Because now it's all over. Logan picks up the deceased body of Colossus, bringing him to the grave that he has dug before, putting him in something that he didn't give the other members and other villains on his revenge list the time of day, because Colossus at the very least meant something to him. So even though he had to go, Logan decided to get rid of him tastefully, giving him his own burial, as he walks away with an X sticking out of the grave, saying, "And now it's done." But this isn't the end. No, even though Logan has technically got his revenge, there is more to the story. But more that we won't get now, as this is the end of this issue and video. So yeah, that was issue 3 of Wolverine's Revenge. A story in an alternate universe, which I think is pretty interesting. In some cases in what it's trying to portray, but also it's not a perfect story, you know? There's some loose ends and some skipping over for the sake of shock value, if you will. But next issue, we do see an older Wolverine, meaning there is maybe even a time jump, and possibly the future and what happens in this broken world. But if you did enjoy this video, leave a like, or subscribe if you're new and enjoy this type of content. As always, this was the Hero Informer, and thank you for watching.